Welcome to our brand new show, The Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. It's very exciting for me, Nico Kritsiotis, to be hosting this show, which will come to you on a weekly basis. We've got lots in store for you lined up tonight. And first and foremost, we're chatting to champion jockey, recently crowned champion jockey, Gavin Lerena, about his success over the last 12 months. We'll then chat to the president of the Mauritian Turf Club, Santosh Gujadhur, about the start of Mauritian horse racing. We've got another special guest in studio, and that is none other than Perry Strydom, retiring jockey. He's retired eventually from the saddle, and he'll be chatting to us about what he's going to be doing now and his exploits in the saddle over the past 30 years or so. And also, we'll have a look at a mailbag that we've created for you and what you can get in touch with us. And we'll come up with some competition news a bit later on. That's all coming up on The Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. So to kick off our very first show, it's The Direct Line, powered by 10Bet, is a very special guest. He's recently been crowned champion jockey for the last racing season. He's currently on a suspension, so he's having some well-earned rest as well. And that's none other than Gavin Lerena. Gavin, thanks very much for coming in, and a great pleasure to firstly see you and to congratulate you on a wonderful season that you had. Let's talk about what happened over the last 12 months. Let's talk about the beginning of the season and whether you thought that this was a possibility. Were you going for it, or did you just take it as it came?
It's pretty funny because I had an altercation with a trainer very early in the season, very early in August, and he basically told me I'm a has-been. And that lit the fire in my belly, and I said, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you.
So that was it, the start of the season?
That was it. I said, I'm having a full go at this.
Yeah.
I'll show you who I am.
Which is fantastic, because that very same trainer you ended up riding for at the end of the season and was riding winners for him.
Yeah, I mean, this game's an amazing sport. One thing I've been taught, you never ever close doors. I think about a month later, we apologized to one another. I didn't ride for him, but you never close doors.
Absolutely.
And I mean, look how it ended.
Yeah. And to be champion jockey again, how does it feel? Because you won it quite some time back now, and you've knocked on the door a couple of times too, and been very close to winning it, but you've done it properly this time. You had a healthy advantage at the end.
Yeah, it's fantastic to win it again. I mean, it's been 10 years since I won it. Did a lot of other things along the way after that. Travelled a bit, and obviously my family came together. I've got two beautiful children since then, and like this time around, it's great to win it and win it for them.
The burning question that everyone is asking about all these altercations you had with the NHRA and the various suspensions that you had and so forth, but you basically, the way I understand it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, took advantage of the appeal process and the fact that if you're handed down a sentence, you can appeal it and so forth. Just explain, because a lot of the public say that the shine may be taken off the win in the championship because you were allowed to ride for the whole season and didn't serve out the suspensions. But just explain to me and to whoever's listening or watching just how all that works.
Yeah, look, it's pretty simple. The inquiry, the Gates inquiry, the NHA had legal representation. Jockey Gates had legal representation, and for me to have any chance of getting to the end of the season, I had to represent myself. It was daunting, it was scary, to walk in there with advocates and, the chairman of the board and whoever was there. It was very daunting, but I sat in there for 3 days and represented myself the best I could, and that gave me the opportunity to appeal. But if I had taken a lawyer or an advocate with me to the inquiry, there was no room for me to appeal because I already had legal representation.
Right.
So it's I played the system, maybe I did, or maybe, I just went about it the right way.
So that's why I'm basically saying that you worked within the rules of the NHRA, and now you'll take those suspensions because they have become. I mean, you're on a suspension right now as we sit here.
Yeah, I'm on a 2-week suspension, 2 different ones for interference. The appeal with the Gates appeals on the 18th of August. they'll be sitting, and just can't wait to get it out the way.
These are part and parcel of riding. I mean, you've got to operate within the rules, and that'll be due process taken, and obviously you'll do your time, whatever time is needed back. When you come back to the saddle and ride full tilt again, would it be something that you'd be seeking again? Is the fire still there to win another one?
Yeah, it definitely has. I've looking back on it now, I've kind of missed being, in the top 3. I was always in the top 5 or so, but it was an enjoyable season. There were ups and downs, but it was enjoyable, and I enjoyed the thrill of it. I'm very competitive, and looking forward to the next season.
You've represented South Africa internationally. It's the weekend now coming up for the Sugar Cup. And if I remember correctly, all those years ago when you represented South Africa as part of the rest of the world team, you ended up, your team won. I think you ended up as the top jockey for that particular Sugar Cup. You've also been to Hong Kong. You've ridden internationally there too. You had a brief stint where you thought you might ride in the UK for a bit of time. And tell us about all those exploits that you've done pretty well at. Now you're a family man, it's going to be harder, but you did try all these things before.
Yeah, I think my first Hong Kong invite was the jockeys, the Longines Jockeys International. We went there as outsiders, and it was a great evening. A bit of rain around, but to fly the flag high and to manage to pick up 2 winners on the evening was fantastic.
Well, you ended up being the top jockey, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I won the Longines that
Came
year.
with a big check too.
It did, yes.
Yeah. Is the money still in the bank? You spent that?
Yeah, I've left it there. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, so that was Hong Kong. That obviously snowballed that I got into the Sugar Cup. And the Sugar Cup, it was always a dream to ride at Ascot, and to represent the rest of the world, and obviously South Africa again was fantastic. And I had no chance on paper with my rides, and it's just nice that everything fell into place. Managed to win my first ride over, I think it was 3,600 meters or 2 miles, and I went to the front, and the rest is history. It was a great day again, and it's so enjoyable, representing your country, and especially when you come out victorious.
We haven't had the Jockeys International here for a while. I mean, you'd want to do that again here on home ground, wouldn't you?
Oh, to be out of this world. We've had some great internationals. Obviously, my dad was part of most of them, and he brought out the best in the world. We've really had some great jockeys on the turf. They had a good time with us, and speaking to a couple of guys a couple of months ago, they miss it. They miss it.
Yeah, I hope to see it back maybe. Who's behind all the success of Gavin Lerena? I suppose you've got to say thank you to them, because it's not only you. I know you do a lot of form study. I know you're a really hard worker when it comes to looking at your rides and to see where to place them and whether you think they've got realistic chances of winning. But who's behind the scenes?
I got to start with my wife, Vicky. She's been instrumental. She's definitely my rock. She does help out with my rides here and there. She picks out horses that, hey, you must, try get on that next time. My agent Wade, he's still young, but he's learning the ropes quickly, and he's obviously done a good job this season. And then my mother and father, they're always my backbone. They're always there for me. My mother's like a star. She watches every single race.
Is she hypercritical of you?
Not at all.
No,
not at all. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. She's just. She's very involved, heavily involved. My dad, not so much, funny enough. He enjoys the wins and that, but he wouldn't be able to tell you what I rode last week, where my mother can tell you what I've ridden for the last 20 years. But my dad's also, like I said, very instrumental, gives me good advice, and always keeps me on the straight and narrow. And then my sister, my brother-in-law, my cousin Kevin, I'm very blessed that I've got a huge family base that support me, that enjoy horse racing, and whether we're up or down, they're there for me.
And the wins, you got 277 wins in total. Most of those came from Joburg. But you eventually managed to crack the Cape Town code. You started there with a couple of rides. You started with One Stripe. You had a glorious season with the Great Horse One Stripe. And you got a lot of Cape Town trainers now saying they wanted to use you.
Yeah, it was very hard to break into Cape Town. I got to say all thanks to One Stripe, to Rakesh Sugulam, and to Vaughan Marshall. Fantastic guy to ride for. And I really enjoyed riding for Mr. Marshall. And, obviously riding a couple winners for him, other doors opened in Cape Town. And, towards the back end of the season, we were very competitive there. I mean, I could go there and ride a double or a treble, and it's not easy to do in Cape Town. So it was enjoyable.
And then Durban, you got a lot of support down in Natal. I mean, you'd go there on various times. Certainly picked up the pace as time went on there, and you were well supported in Durban too.
Yeah, the beginning of the season went really well for me in Durban. I would only go down for 3-4 rides, ride 2 or 3 winners. I was trying to plump pick, and it was happening. It really went well for me. But then halfway through the season, Durban went very dead on me. And it just goes like that. But thank goodness towards the back end of the season, we got it fired up again and got the support. And yeah, it was great.
Now, I know it's very tough for jockeys when they take time off because it's a case of out of sight, out of mind. But you are a champion jockey, so you'll do your time and you'll come back into the saddle. And there must be certain horses that you'd want to ride again this next season when you come back. Just list some of those horses that you'd be interested in riding again that you think are going to be horses that we should follow for the forthcoming season.
I think, let's start with Cape Town. I think Dreamworld's a very nice horse. I think he's got a nice future. That Argentinian horse, Saudi Cats, he could be anything. Mr. Marshall's got a nice young string, so, looking forward to that. And then obviously in Joburg, I've ridden some nice youngsters.
Buffalo Storm Cody must come certainly near the top. I mean, he's a much improved horse as a gelding.
Yeah, I think he's won 4 from 5 as a gelding.
Yeah.
I just hoping he can get further. I feel the horse can get up to maybe a mile because he is a better horse around the turn. And obviously the season coming up, if he's going to be sprinting down the straight, I don't think he's ideally suited to it.
Horses like, I've got a special horse in mind called the Ultimate King. He's certainly coming up through the divisions pretty nicely. What are your thoughts on him? And also give us your thoughts on the Equator. They're both from the Piére stable.
Yeah, the Ultimate King, he really needed the gelding. I think he's won 3 from 3 now after the gelding. He's an improving sort. We always thought he's going to be a better horse the older he gets. But definitely turned over a new leaf since the gelding. He's willing to do it for you now, which is so important. And I think he's going to be a nice progressive horse. He's always going to be on the up. The Equator, great win last week with him. Great to get him winning. I think he's a horse that's definitely going to be a better summer horse. So it's good for him to win in the winter over 18. He feels like he will stay all day. But in saying that, he's pretty well handicapped. That if he can keep improving, he could be like a Victory Moon Summer Cup type of horse in the summer ground.
Well, we wish you all the best, Gav. I know that you're going to stay on for the end of the show when you will be chatting to Perry Strydom as well in between. Just want to wish you all the best for the forthcoming season. And I know that the Equus Awards are coming up on the 14th. You'll be down in Durban at the awards ceremony to not only pick up your championship trophy, but also to say a small speech. Have you started working on it yet?
Not yet. Just taking the family down for the week. Obviously looking forward to being down on the coast and got to go get that trophy.
Yeah, the school holidays are up now, so the kids are looking forward to having dad and mom around them full time.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to it as much as the kids are?
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's a long holiday, but I've really missed them throughout this last season. I think I'm a hands-on dad. I like to, to spend time with them, to take my boy to soccer or whatever sporting event it is. So going to enjoy the time with him.
Gav, thanks very much for coming in, and thanks for being part of our first show.
Thank you very much.
So welcome back to the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. We've got on the line a very special guest. It's the incoming president of the Mauritius Turf Club, Jockey Club, and that is Santosh Gujadhur. Santosh, a great pleasure to host you on today's show. And just a big word of congratulations for the kickoff of Mauritian racing, which we saw an emphatic start to the Champ de Mars season last weekend. You must be very proud of the start of this new rebirth of Mauritian racing.
Good morning, Nico, and thank you for having me. It's a privilege. Absolutely delighted. I mean, we couldn't have hoped for a better start. The public turned up in massive numbers. We had over 22,000 people live, and by rough estimates, over 300,000 live views across all channels. So that's roughly 30% of the population tuning in. We're overwhelmed by this show of support.
And even the incoming prime minister that started in November last year, I think he was elected an incoming president, but he's been prime minister before, rather. He was there in attendance. Gavin Glover, the Attorney General, was there. You had it was a right royal affair to be at Champ de Mars last weekend.
Yeah, it was the Duchess of York Cup, but we had a mini royal act, and it was excellent from the government supported us to get back on the saddle. I think it was not an ordinary restart, Nico. We had to redo the whole regulatory framework, the financial framework, rebuild the horse population, which is still going to be a slight issue until the end of this season, which is a tailed one. But we're hoping to keep walking hand in hand with the governmental support to get this industry back up, because the population, this is the only live entertainment left in the country for the population. So we need to give this back to them.
Yeah, this was a national sport for so long in Mauritius, and everyone went there on a Saturday. It was, that they kept their Saturdays free. And not only that, you had great attendances at all your trials and all your gallops during the course of the week, something that we in South Africa don't really have. It was pretty unique. People used to line the racecourse in the early hours of the morning during the week to see the work.
Yeah, indeed. I think as one of your very prominent stakeholders mentioned to me, unfortunately, you have the product, you don't have the support. We have the support, we don't have the product.
Yeah,
which I think is a very apt summary of the way it is.
But now so the 11 trainers, as far as I understand, that are training horses there. You said you had a problem with the population. Obviously, most of the horses do come from South Africa. I'd say, in fact, all of them come from South Africa. You used to get horses from France as well?
We had a couple of come in from France, England, few from Singapore in the recent past, but I would say 99.99% of our population is South African. The jockeys used to be the same thing. That's diversified a little bit. We're seeing a bit more of South American, possibly a couple of European jockeys coming in. But the reality is our industry is intricately tied to South Africa. Our owners, trainers know the South African trainers and owners well. There's a sense of comfort in coming to the markets. We've sort of become an integral part of the continuity of horse racing from the evolution. So the horses start running there, but a large chunk, a couple of hundred a year, so 150, 160 horses a year come to our jurisdiction. And the problem is we've started from scratch because we haven't raced for 30 months. So even though the owners did a huge effort at an extravagant freight cost of $17,000 roughly per horse, we still imported over 150 horses this year. And that's not including the cost of the horse, of course. And we need 3 years to build it back to the 450 odd horse population to be able to get our 40 race meetings.
But the positives, you've got it off the ground. All credit to you and your team. The betting turnover. What did the betting turnover say to you? Was it indicative of what you thought it might be? Were you well pleased with it? Were you a bit disappointed? Where did you sit on the first week's turnover?
I think similar to our reaction to the crowds, the betting, I mean, just blew us away. Went back to about 2019 levels, and it was a good field. I mean, we had one race with 10 horses, but the rest wasn't particularly great. You know, we had about 64, 65 runners, which is not a lot, but the betting turnover was phenomenal. We hope that continues because, as you know, that's the lifeline of racing. The glass is certainly half full. We think the owners, as we speak, we've got possibly 2 more flights of nearly 72 horses that will fly into the country before the year end. They won't make it for this season, but that makes it for a great start of 2026. And that's what we're planning for. This is just we're still on the runway, about to take off here. 26 is the takeoff.
Absolutely. So it's almost like a curtain raiser. I followed it live online. I watched it. Unfortunately, my French isn't great, so it was pretty tough for me to follow it. Yeah. But from a broadcast point of view, are South Africans going to get to see the product on their mainstream channels?
They are. I think it was picked up this week as well. Hollywood Bets picked it up. We're fine-tuning we've put in a new race management platform, which is going to be live and disseminating information, live in real time. So we want to fine-tune that across 1 or 2 race meetings to make sure we get the product right. I think it's going to get done shortly. Once that is done, it will be picked up by all the fixed odds, all the tote operators in South Africa. It's going to be there. The commentary is going to be in English. One of our old, I'm sure, name you'd recognize, Mark Natius, who's based in Mauritius, will be doing the commentary from our end. And we think clearly, like I said, we're intricately tied to the South African racing market. And I think this is we need to further expand that collaboration.
Santosh Gujadhur is the president of the Mauritius Turf Club. Thanks so much for joining us on the Direct Line, and great to be with you, and see you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to the Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. Another very special guest is the legendary Perry Strydom. He joins me in studio at the end of his riding career. 5,621 winners in an absolutely glorious career. Thanks for coming in, Striker. Again, big blow of congratulations go out to you from everyone in the racing industry, because you've stuck it out. You were meant to retire 5 or 6 years ago, and you stayed in, you did the yards, and you got the due rewards. And I tell you what, you know my feeling on you. It's well recorded out there. Congratulations. What a wonderful career.
Thank you, Nico. Yeah, it's 44 years. Obviously, started off wanting to be the best possible jockey around, and I think that's every jockey's goal when they start. They want to be champion jockey, and you have to put in the hard work, and but many ups and downs, many falls, many suspensions, travel, and then things not working out. But finally, 44 years later, there's a word I'm using at the moment. Called freedom.
Absolutely.
I'm able to do what I want now, and I'm not tied down to getting up a certain time in a day, get to the race course, a certain time before the first race or the second, whichever race. I'm now able to do things a little bit for myself.
So you achieved what you wanted to do, and along the way, I suppose that you learned quite a bit and you made a few mistakes and so forth, like any human would. But ultimately, what was the main secret of you getting to where you needed to be? What is the secret behind Piére Strydom's success?
You know, a lot of people have asked me the question, but there's no one secret. It's improving on all the little things along the way. Like first thing I realized that if you've got a good style, a balanced style, people will praise you, and that already impresses other people, and impresses trainers and owners, and they want to use you. So getting down in your jockey style, less wind resistant. So it's just little things that I picked up all along the way, and I think sometimes jockeys don't really think about something. They think they must just get on a horse, ride, and that's going to happen. I mean, for instance, I realized very early on, by getting the best ride, the best horse, you're going to ride more winners. And it's common sense. You don't have to be clever to work that out. And I quickly learned to study the form of horses, watch races all the time, even till now when I stopped riding. And I noticed, like, even some apprentices or jockeys that are battling, they've had a ride or two in the second or third race, and then half an hour later showered and they're back home. They're just not putting in the effort to learn all the time. I look at the races and I look at where a jockey was caught wide. Sometimes it's not your fault, but a race just works out like that. And I picked up all little odds and ends and put it all together, and that's why I think I've done better than most jockeys.
Absolutely. And obviously, as time went on, I mean, you started down in the Eastern Cape, you did the hard yards there, and the move to Johannesburg must have been a big one in your life, because you were coming up at a time when we had a lot of jockeys pass away in the disaster in 1988. It was a terrible disaster down in Henneman when the jockeys were coming back from Bloemfontein. But you came up to Joburg. Do you remember those early days when you came up? Was it tough to break in here to Joburg racing?
It was sort of, but I got given a big break by Brett Warren. What actually happened, I was based in P as apprentice, and I was apprenticed to my father and Des McLaughlin. So I got some good rides straight away. And Gavin Venter, actually, the ex-jockey, he was champion jockey for many years riding for the Greefyard. And I learned from him as well. I mean, in those days, it's going to sound weird, it's before even videotapes. We had to go on a Monday after a race meeting on a Saturday, go to the jockey club, go and look at the races by what do you call it? Those projectors.
Oh yes, yeah.
So you know, he watches
Patrol
the races.
films.
Patrol films. Yeah. I used to watch. I mean, what's he looking for in the race? And so he was actually quite a good mentor to me as well when I started in P. And then I quickly became champion jockey in P. And then the Henneman disaster in 1988 unfortunately happened. Fortunately for me, though, in Joburg, they were short of jockeys or quality jockeys. And my ex-brother-in-law, Louis Goosen, who's the racehorse trainer in Durban, he said to me, no, he's seen me ride and he thinks I'm too good to stay in P, make the move to Joburg. And so he organized me the opportunity with Brett Warren. And Brett Warren had a really strong stable in those years. But I was lucky. I think riding quality horses of Brett Warren's and other trainers seeing
Jean
that
Hemming must have been also part and parcel of the thing at the time.
She came later on the scene, but I think trainers very quickly realize who's hungry and hungry to ride, winners hungry for success. And I gave myself 3 months. I thought, well, that's it. 3 months. If I don't make it, then I'm back in P. I've done so well there. I might as well stay there. But you were asking me about, was it easy to break in? I remember my first morning I went to ride track work at Newmarket Racecourse, and there was a jockey at the time, and I was trotting my horse up to get to track, and he's basically used other words, but he basically said to me that I'm a stupid, and I was like, I first said hello and smiled, whatever, and he said, I can't be too clever. So I said, why? He says, in P, I was a small fish. I was a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
In Joburg, I'm going to be a small fish in a big pond. So that's intimidating, because you're new here and you've seen these jockeys up in Joburg riding all these winners, and you naturally think that I'm better than you. So it was a bit intimidating, but quickly put my mind to it, worked hard, got the winners, and then obviously it changed very quickly.
And you've got a very distinctive style, and in your races, and I know that watching you commentate on you and watching a lot of videos, that you're not really a jockey that uses the stick that often, and you don't like using it, only unless you really have to, and there's very rare occasions that you do. You let the horse do the talking, basically, and your urgings, and you get behind the horse. So that must also be a big part of your whole success too.
Well, I basically feel that you want to save the horse for the very last bit. Unless you're riding a one pacer and you're trying to make it like a test of the race, so then obviously you can't sit and wait till the end. You've got to grind the opposition down, and so I would naturally give a horse a little tap and let him, and then it gives me the feel of what have I got underneath me, and that's where I'll try and save that last little bit for the finish. I mean, I'd naturally I'd ask the horse to gallop, and I naturally ask the horse to do its best. But that last little bit is where you want to win. Not at the 200, not at the 400 meter mark, at the winning post.
At the winning post.
So that's just been my philosophy through the years.
Because the reason I ask you that question is because there's these new rules. There's guidelines and there's rules for jockeys from the Jockey Club and from the NHRA, and a lot of jockeys are falling foul of it. If you hit a horse more than 12 times in a race, there's a progressive sanction towards that. I mean, let's talk about the latest one that's come about is the horse Gladiatorian, who won the Champions Cup. Sean Veal's been hit hard with a suspension and a huge fine too, because it was a Grade 1 race. So what's your feeling on, I mean, you've read about that and you've watched the race. You unfortunately didn't get a chance to ride Royal Victory in the race, but what's your thinking about that now? As part of a person that can read races?
Well, I personally feel that we are there to protect the horse. I mean, the horses run for us. We earn a living from horses, and we need to definitely look after a horse. We are not here to abuse horses. And I know some people have said that, what's the difference between you eating horse 12 times or 13 times? Well, you've got to draw the line at some stage. And in the UK, we're down to 6 smacks. So we are still a little bit heavy-handed, if I can call it that, in South Africa. And I still think we can build on that. I know the fines are heavy. The suspensions are heavy. It doesn't fit the crime. But I feel at some stage as a jockey, you need a whip to encourage a horse, because some horses will just take advantage of you. Even show jumpers, I can say, as racing people, we are cruel, but they also have a whip to encourage a horse. But I do feel that we can really cut down even more on the whip and maybe get more people out there in the world that's anti-horse racing to accept that we are doing a lot for the horse. I mean, these horses are well cared of. I know they do exercise and they're athletes, and sometimes accidents happen, but are well looked after.
You've ridden some great races. I mean, a lot of them are well spoken about. The the jet plane ride in Hong Kong was exceptional. We picked out Tudor Ruler and the Joseph Dorfman many years ago that you rode well. The one race that people don't speak often about is when you were riding Yard Arm against Kevin Shaw and Wolf Whistle back in 2003 in the Summer Cup. I remember that like it was yesterday because it was such a great battle. That was a really, really great finish. You ended up losing the race, but then it went to an objection in the boardroom because you and Kevin came really close together again. What are your memories of that Summer Cup?
Yeah, I remember Wolf Whistle, Kevin Shaw was just ahead of me, and it's a Summer Cup, so it's, one of the biggest races in South Africa. And Wolf Whistle was a huge horse, and I rode Yard Arm, and he was probably slightly bigger. And I remember making my run about 100 meters from the winning post. I was about to overtake Wolf Whistle, and Kevin Shaw started riding towards me. Some people say I was riding towards him, but I'll explain now. So when he started riding towards me, obviously it's a bit of race riding intimidation. We all do that. I knew at that stage for me to get past him, if I started running at an angle away from Wolf Whistle, my horse would just lose ground as I'm running away from Wolf Whistle. And at a certain point, I said, look, if I don't straighten my horse, I'd rather fight with Wolf Whistle in his finish. And that's where the arms and the bumping came.
Started, yeah.
And I felt that if I kept straight and he bumped me, then him being the aggressor, obviously if it's a very close, I'd win the race in the boardroom. So I was actually very annoyed that I didn't win the race in the boardroom because Wolf Whistle, Kevin was the initial aggressor. I just stood my ground. And it was heads up, heads down, so it was very close. Great footage. One of those races you always remember. But I just felt like in the boardroom that...
you had the stronger case.
I had the stronger case. I mean, it was heads up, heads down, and he was the aggressor, so I felt I should have got the race.
Now, let's talk about your retirement because many people, when you announced it again a few weeks ago, still didn't believe that Perry Strydom was retiring. Said, I can't believe it. There's no ways that you're giving up because you've said this before. Do you really mean it? And you did mean it this time around. And it was sad to see on the 31st of July, you basically hanging up your stirrups and saying cheers to the racing world. But you were going to retire some time back. And then you were asked to go to Mauritius by your late stepmother. Said, just Perry, come and try Mauritius. This could be what you're looking for.
Yeah, I never actually announced retirement. I just, it was always in the back of my mind for many years. So my stepmom, she was very well connected to Mauritius, and I thought in 1919 I will finally have a last stint in Mauritius because I haven't ever had a stint in Mauritius, and I thought that would be like a sort of a bit of a working holiday, and I can call it a day. And I actually met my wife, Krishna. Well, we've met before, but she came over to visit, and we connected there. We made a really good connection, and well, the rest is history. I ended up riding a bit longer because I thought I would like her to experience some of horse racing. I think horse racing is exciting. You can have money, no money. You can be famous, not famous, and be part of horse racing. It's for everyone. And so I thought, well, after my Mauritius stint, I came back to South Africa, and I thought, okay, for Krishna to enjoy a bit of the racing, I carried on riding, and all of a sudden I picked up a horse called See It Again. He won a Grade 1 in the Derby in Cape Town. And then I rode him a couple more times, won a couple more features, and rode him in July. And, well, from there, things just started building up again. Lucky Udalakis gave me the ride on Dice. He ran some feature races. Then I got to ride on Fatal Flaw, Arun Chada and Vaughan Rippon. They offered me a job. So I rode for them for a while. And then Quid Pro Quo came along, and all of a sudden, all these horses were on my lap. And
this is at the age of 57, 58.
Yeah, probably, like 57, 58, yeah. So I thought, how can I turn it up now? And I just kept going. And obviously when these horses fell by the wayside, obviously it wasn't much left for me. So, I've been thinking of retiring for a long time, but just never got to the point where I said, this is it. And now obviously it's the end of the season. I thought the first time actually that I sat in the jockey room was this year for the Durban July. I'd always taken part in the Durban July itself, and this year I sat in the jockey room
Whilst the race was being
while
run.
the race was being run, and I said, "Well, that's got to be
time to call
this
it.
time."
Yeah. And Krishna was there on the last day. It must have been special for you because she was there with her mom and shouting you. I mean, you had 2 winners on the last day.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to finish off on a high. I remember one day chatting to Mark de Kock, and he was saying to me, don't finish batting to get rides. You just a has-been, finish on a high. And I remembered I want to do that. And I took rides at actually Gold Cup meeting in Durban. Grade 1 horse, Royal Victory, didn't go to the start, got scratched. It was like, wow, what an ending. And then I had one more meeting left at the Vaal, the very last day of the racing season, and my very last meeting that I'm going to ride in races. I had 4 rides, all had chances, and I thought, I just want one. It's just as long as I have one, I'll feel at least pleased that I've done a good job. Well, I had 2 winners, so it was a very nice finish for me.
And you won on a horse called After Hours, your very last winner, 5,621 winners later in your career, retiring on a high. The horse was called After Hours, and that leads me to the next question, because you've got a lot of after hours now, a very, very many after hours. What are you going to do? What's on the list? Is there anything on the list?
Well, I've got a lot of little things, podcasts and entertaining maybe, but I'm going to take a little break from horse racing, just sort out private life. My wife and I, we in property, and a lot of interesting stuff happening. We just pressed our first olive oil, so
congratulations.
So small little things on the side, and we'll see how we go from there, and then I'll probably get back into horse racing in a different capacity.
That's fantastic, Piére. Thanks very much for coming through, and we hope that you enjoy your retirement. You're still looking nowhere near your age. I mean, you've done really, really well in the saddle.
Thank you.
And we'll say cheers to you just now with Gavin again, but thanks very much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Well, I've got the special guests back to say cheers to me and also to have a little bit of fun too. Gavin Lerena and Perry Strydom were my special guests on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet on the very first show. And it's been an absolute privilege to have both of you on the show, because you are huge names in South African horse racing, and both your names will stand the test of time. But I just wanted to throw it out there because obviously we're all on the set together now, and I thought I should just give you an opportunity of asking each other a question. So let's start off with you, Gav, as the incoming champion. We won't give that honour to Piére. And what would you like to throw at him?
A couple of questions.
Okay.
First, blonde or brunette?
Blonde.
Well, I know that I could have even answered that for you.
I think
What else?
Your favorite or your best rider of all time?
Probably JJ Jet Plane in Hong Kong, just because it was such a big race, an occasion where South Africa looked at the whole country looked at that meeting, and we managed to win by the shortest of short, and the race just worked out perfect.
What did Kutsi say to you at the finish?
He didn't want to say good luck, but he eventually did.
Anything else?
I'll let Piére ask.
Okay, Piére, let's pass it on to you.
So many years ago, I won a championship once, and I needed something to push me to have a second championship. I was playing pool, and an uncle of mine introduced me as his champion jockey, and this friend that he had said, he's only won it once. So the question why I'm asking, I think everyone wants to know, who put the fire in your belly? Which trainer put the fire in your belly?
It was Johan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Janssen van Vuren, yeah.
Yes, I mean we've had a not a love-hate relationship. I can never say that, but we've had our issues along the way. We've been for marriage counselling and so forth, but it was him. Yeah.
Okay. Sort of worked it out.
Anything else?
No.
Just quickly from my side, Piére, you said you're going to do something involved in horse racing still. You want to just have a bit of a break at the moment from the game. But what do you think of the state of our racing currently as it is now? Are you happy with most of what's going on?
Obviously, a lot more can be done, but it looks like we're in the right direction. I mean, the facilities are looking great, and that's a start. Now we just need to get people to the course. I know a lot of people say we don't need people at the course. We do. That creates excitement, gets youngsters to the course, and that's the future. So every little bit of improvement is good.
Gavin, from your side, all going well. You'll be back in the saddle soon. You'll have to spend quite a bit of the next couple of months fighting your cases, but you're going to be G'd up for the next season, all ready to go again and ready to get another championship under the belt. You're fighting hard for it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's quite sad that Pierre's not going to be in the jockey room any longer. He did bring out the best in me, but I'm going to have to find someone else to get me going.
Yeah.
And looking very forward to next season. I must just say, with racing and that, it's on the up, and I think Mod as well have done a fantastic job. I just wish that everyone could get into one boat and sail in one direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And well said, and a great way to end off this particular podcast. Gavin Lerena and Striker Strydom have been my special guests for the first show. It's the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. Join us again next week.